Good morning everyone, this is Prasad. Today we are going to discuss 10th class NCERT Maths, third chapter, pair of linear equations. First, we have to discuss what are the linear equations in two variables. First, about linear equation. The equation which has degree 1 is called linear equations and two variables. For example, see the standard form of the linear equation a1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0. Next, this is the first linear equation and pair of linear equation with another linear equation a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. So a1x plus b1y plus c1 equal to 0 and a2x plus b2y plus c2 equal to 0. See children, consider here x and y values only variables. X comma y variables here. Don't consider a, b, c as variable here. a1, a1, a2, b1, b2, c1, c2. Sorry, b1, b2 are c coefficients of x and y term. And here x c1, c2, c1, c2 constants. Here c1, c2 are constant. And a1, a2 values also constant only, but these constants coefficients of xy terms. Here the c1, c2 there is no variable, the two just constants only. And here a1 comma a2 comma b1 comma b2 not equal to 0. The values of a1, a2, b1, b2 are not equal to 0. Why? Because if a1 value is 0, then automatically x value also 0. That's why this is linear equation one variable only. So never a1, b1, a2, b2 values 0 in the pair of linear equations in two variables. Next, just imagine the graphical representation of two linear equations. Graphical representation of two linear equations. First linear equation graphical representation, like just imagine, and second linear equation graphical representation. If the two straight lines are there in a plane, the possibilities, it may intersect, or the representation of two linear equations in a plane. It means two straight lines in a plane, it may intersect at a point, or it may parallel each other, or the both linear equations coincident each other. These are the three possibilities. If the both linear equations intersect, how many solutions? The intersecting point is the solution. It means one solution. If the two linear equations parallel, there is no solutions. If the two linear equations coincident, many solutions. So these are the possibilities for the linear equation, pair of linear equation graphical representation. If they pair of linear equation intersecting at a point means they have one solution. If they are parallel means no solutions. If the both linear equations are intersecting means coincident means they have many solutions. But this is very lengthy process. Why? Because you have to find the solutions for each pair of linear equation and you have to represent the solutions on the graph diagram. Then only you will rectify the both linear equations are intersecting, parallel or coincident. But we have one more method to find the both linear equations are intersecting, they are parallel or coincident. What is that? Comparison of ratios of coefficient. So ratios coefficient, compare and find the both linear equations are intersecting or coincident or parallel. For the first one, Compare the x coefficients a1 by a2. Next y coefficient b1 by b2. If the a1 by a2 ratio is not equal to b1 by b2, then the both lines are intersecting at a point. If a1 by a2 not equal to b1 by b2, the both pair of linear equations are intersecting at a point. If the both linear equations intersecting at a point mean they have how many solution? One solution. One solution and intersecting at a point, and they have one solution. And if the one more point is, if the two pair of linear equation has one common solution, then the both pair of linear equations are called consistent pair of linear equations. Consistent pair of linear equation. Consistent pair of linear equation. If the both pair of linear equations has one common solution or one solution, then the both pair of linear equations are called consistent pair of linear equation. Next, compare the ratios. If a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2 but not equal to c1 by c2, a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2 but not equal to c1 by c2, then the both pair of linear equations are parallel. The both pair of linear equations are parallel. If the both pair of linear equation parallel, there is no common solution, no common point for the both straight lines. So that's why there is no solutions. There is no solutions. No solution means the both pair of linear equations and the both straight lines parallel. The both linear equations are parallel. Next up, so if the both pair of linear equations are parallel means what we call inconsistent lines. Inconsistent pair of linear equations. If they have one solution mean we call it as consistent pair of linear equation. If no solution mean we call it as inconsistent pair of linear equation. Next, third one, a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2 equal to c1 by c2. If the all the ratios are equal, then the both pair of linear equations coincident each other. They coincident each other. If the both pair of linear equations coincident each other means they have many solutions. How many solutions? Many solutions. And the both pair of linear equation coincident. If the both pair of linear equation has many solution, we call it as dependent pair of linear equations. Or see, if they have one solution, we call it as consistent pair of linear equation. Then many solutions also consistent pair of linear equation. If they have many solutions, they have specific name dependent pair of linear equation and general name consistent pair of linear equation. Consistent pair of linear equation. If they have specific one solution mean we call it as consistent pair of linear equation. If they have more solutions also, we call it as consistent pair of linear equation only. And many solutions means dependent pair of linear equations. And examples for the each one case. For suppose 3x plus 4y plus 3 is equal 0 or 6 is equal 0, and 2x plus 5y plus 3 is equal 0. Or see, compare children, 3 by 2 is not equal to 4 by 5. So this is an example for first case. And next 3x plus 2y plus 5 is equal to 0, and 6x plus 4y plus 7 equal to 0. Compare here 3 by 6 and 2 by 4. 3 by 6, 1. 3 by 6 means 1 by 2. 2 by 4 means 1 by 2. So a1 equal to a2. But b, see, a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2. But c1 by c2 value 5 by 7. So a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2, but not equal to c1 by c2. Next, for the third one, 4x plus 6y plus 5 is equal to 0. Then 8x plus 12y plus 10 equal to 0. Compare the ratios. 4 by 8 means 1 by 2. 6 by 12 means 1 by 2. 5 by 10 also 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 is equal to 1 by 2 is equal to 1 by 2. 1 by 2. Then automatically a1 by a2 equal to b1 by b2 equal to c1 by c2. Without graphical representation, with the comparison of ratios, we say that the both pair of linear equations intersecting are parallel or coincident. Without the graphical representation, in the previous class we discussed the graphical representation. With the graphical representation, we told that the both pair of linear equations intersecting at a point are parallel or coincident. But here, without the graphical representation, with the comparison of the coefficient of the xy terms variables, the comparison of variable exponents, comparison of the exponents, comparison of the coefficient, we told that the both pair of linear equation intersecting in the first case and parallel in the second case and coincident in the third case. And next, without graphical representation and without the comparison ratios, we can find the solution of the pair of linear equation with the three methods. We have three methods. One is cross multiplication method, substitution method, and elimination method. For the 2020-21 academic year, the government deducted and deleted the cross multiplication method for this year, but we had to learn that concept also. Why? Because it will come in the future. It is useful for your next studies, higher studies. Okay, we will discuss the topic in the next class. Okay, thank you children.